What's going on, guys? It's Spark, and today we'll be going over some of the Samurai Warriors 2 characters I'm most familiar with. This will be from a style play perspective, so I'll be going over preferred stats on weapons and recommended playstyles for each listed character. With that being said, let's actually go over my thoughts on Samurai Warriors 2 and 2XL. Truthfully, I have never played Samurai Warriors 1, though I heard it was a great game. My first experience with the franchise started with the second game. I remember loving the size and variety of the cast and playing for many hours. As I got older and started watching other YouTubers like Tetsuo 9999 and Wonder Pirate, I wanted to switch things up from the traditional button mashing I would do and start to get more into juggling and style play. So after getting my own PC and putting many hours into Samurai Warriors 2 and 2XL, I can tell you there is so many things that are unexplored, and I can't wait to share them with you. Alright, let's start with Kotaro Fuma. Kotaro is interesting. He seems to have it all: fast attack strings, projectiles, and unblockable moves. Not only those, but his stagger combos are pretty solid too. So, does this ninja have any weaknesses? Not really. You could probably say range, but that's not really a downside for what his kit has to offer. All in all, Kotaro fits a more rushdown combo heavy character archetype. Alright, now let's first go over his normals. Kotaro's normals are some of the fastest from my testing. This enables you to play pretty aggressively, even on harder difficulties, without much worry. An example of that is while the enemy is blocking, Kotaro can do stagger strings on the enemy and be plus enough to attack again. This is a great way to open up the enemy without having to go for a risky throw or charge one. Now for general stagger combos, I'd say go for 3 normals or 6 normals. If you don't know what stagger combos are, I went over those in both my Koei Warriors combo guides. But to save you some time, stagger combos is when you do a normal attack string before delaying it and doing the string again before the enemy hits the ground. Okay, next we go over things to note about his charge moves. We will take this approach with every character, as there are many charge moves in this game and most behave the same. For charge 1, never use charge 1 as a guard break. It's slow as hell and will get you KO'd a lot on harder difficulties. Use the ball roll to engage crowds to gain Muso quickly. Do not, and I mean do not ever use it against charging cavalry units. Those dudes are just built different. For charge 2, this move is nothing really special by itself, but when paired with lightning allows for the player to utilize its knockback negation properties to enable combo routes. For charge 3, from my testing, this move is hit or miss. If the enemy is already juggled and you use it, the enemy will be knocked back too far for you to finish the combo. It sucks because the key blast looks pretty cool. For charge 4, this will be your primary damage dealing charge move, and I can see this being mostly everyone's combo ender after a stagger combo sequence. And lastly, for charge 5, since this is before Koei allowed grapples to be done while the enemy is airborne, it can't be done within a combo that is already started, but it is a great way for opening up enemy defenses and starting a juggle in some cases. Alright, that's Kotaro's charge attacks covered, but what about his special moves? Let's start off with throw. By holding R1 and pressing square, Kotaro extends his arm, grabs the opponent, and throws them a decent distance away. This is a great way for getting pressure off of you and selecting where you would like to completely engage. This attack even crushes some normal attacks like Yoshihiro's and Hideyoshi's. Another application for throw is something I'd like to call throw resets. I take this idea from DBZ Budokai Tenkaichi 3, as in this game, Vegeta has a throw that semi-resets itself when near an invisible wall. The opponent can get out, but it's pretty hard to do so. When Kotaro throws an opponent while near a wall, the AI will try to tech normally or tech and attack afterwards. You can either back up and throw them again or block the attack and do the same thing. In some cases, you won't be able to block in time after the throw, so be sure to back up a bit and let the enemy whiff. It's also important to note that you can't throw enemies while they are airborne, so time your button presses with care, as on whiff throw is pretty punishable. And lastly, while throwing the enemy, you can pop Muso and cancel the throw animation to give you enough time to follow up with combos. Okay, next we go over fireballs. By holding R1 and pressing triangle, Kotaro manifests 4 fireballs to launch at the enemy. While the enemy is hit, they are put into a crumple animation and fall to the ground afterwards. The crumple animation is pretty long and gives you enough time to follow up with combos. Fireballs are pretty useful as they have piercing properties to them. On top of that, you can manifest them, cancel into Musou activation, and do some fancy combos afterwards. The block stun is decent and allows for Kotaro to be safe if the enemies are really close. I'd say the only downside is how long the startup is. Now for special skills, you're gonna want to go with Spring. Do keep in mind there are many different special skills that can fit your playstyle, but this is one I found works best with Kotaro. This is your classic Koei Tecmo combo extension we see in many Warriors titles. This usually consists of doing a combo on the ground ending in a charge move, followed by an air normal to negate knockback, landing back on the ground, and attacking again for combo continuation. It should also be noted that Kotaro and some of the other cast members can do jump charge, followed by instant air normal cancel into ground combos, while others using the same skill cannot. Example of that being Lady No. Yeah, like I said, there are many unexplored technicalities to combos in this game. For weapon stats, let's go over Kotaro's. Go for 40 speed, 40 attack, 60 range. This is of note as Kotaro's range is lacking. And 20 Musou charge. Element, lightning. Overall ranking, when factoring in his normals, charge attacks, special attacks, and Musou, I'm giving Kotaro an easy S tier. You can get through all the content in the game with him without much worry. He's pretty much everything you want in a Musou Warriors game. Totally not being biased here. Next, we cover Ieyasu. Ieyasu is a slow, bulky character with great range and top-tier zoning capabilities. Yes, indeed, Ieyasu takes the crown for best zoning character in Samurai Warriors 2 XL. His speed isn't the best, but he has a lot to offer. Alright, for stagger combos, he's a bit lacking, but at least he has one. You want to do 8 normals. A good indicator is when you see Ieyasu fire his cannon once. Another normal of note is his air normal, as it is the fastest in the game, and has practically no recovery. Sadly, Ieyasu doesn't really have any of note charge moves that can be utilized mid-combo, unless as a combo ender. But let's talk about his special moves. This is what makes this warrior most fun to play for me. Let's start off with his single cannon fire. By holding R1 and pressing square, Ieyasu can fire a single cannonball. This may seem pretty basic, but let's cover its uses. Firstly, it has a guard breaking mechanic. Now, from my testing, it seems to be pretty random. Sometimes it guard breaks, other times it doesn't. Hitting an enemy with a cannonball while they're near a wall will cause the enemy to tech, but Ieyasu's cannon is so fast that you can put the enemy in a semi-perma recovery state if you spam fire. I've done this plenty of times, and let me tell you, it's never not hilarious. Next we cover multi-fire. This is a scatter shot attack that has tracking properties. It's not very useful mid-combo, but it shines in its ability to give you massive amounts of Musou. For special skills, we are going with Escape. This enables a playstyle I like to call Cannon Cancel Combos, or CCC for short. To do this, basically you shoot the enemy with the normal cannon, cancel the animation with a roll, rinse and repeat. It's niche yet enjoyable. I like playing Ieyasu this way. As far as weapon stats go with Ieyasu, we want to go with 60 dex. This is important as we want to be as consistent as possible when hitting our cannon combos. 40 speed and 60 attack. Attack is also of note as we want to squeeze as much damage as possible out of cannons. Overall ranking, when factoring in his normals, charge attacks, special attacks, and Musou, I'm giving Ieyasu a B tier. His range is nothing to sneeze at, his normals are average, charge attacks are lacking in the combo department, but his specials are excellent, only downside being the damage it does. His awakening Musou is a little annoying on the audio end of things, and on top of that, it messes with combos. Lastly, we cover the sarcastic retainer himself, Mitsunari. He's a trap-based character that has a consistent Musou and fun combo routes. This should be your go-to character if you want to do big brain mind setup combos or Okizeme style wake up setups. It's really fun to experiment with, so if you find them of interest, try to come up with some combo tech if you can. Next is of note charge attacks. Charge 1 is the best single button press guard break in the game. Use this as your neutral controlling tool. It has a lingering hitbox to it, which allows you to safely place mines. Some of Mitsunari's charge moves also seem to have armor properties built in, but don't go for them unless you are confident they will land, as they have pretty lengthy recovery frames. Now we cover special moves. Special 1 is a mine placement. This is going to be your main way of controlling the battlefield. You can place up to 6 mines at a time. Since we are covering mine placement, I should also mention Charge 5 has built-in multi-mine placement properties. This may seem like a great thing, but honestly the hitbox of this move is so horrible and the recovery frames is abysmal, so never do this move. Mitsunari is much like Lady No, but he's just overall better in my opinion. His special stance recovery frames and mine placement frames are faster than No's as well. Him having more safety in his kit only enables him to survive for longer. Special 2 is a mine detonation. It is exactly as it sounds. You blow up the mines, delivering damage to the enemy. I will rank the explosions in tiers so to simplify what I mean. Tier 1 explosion or R1 triangle is a regular explosion with slight knockback properties. Tier 2 or R1 triangle is a fire explosion with vertical knock-up effect. In Tier 3 or R1 triangle is an electric explosion with weak pop-up effect to it. Utilize these as you deem fit. My recommendation is, if you lose track of your mines, to just use Special 2 to clear the field of previously placed mines and reassess. For special skills, we're locking in Preparation. This gives Mitsunari stagger combos by canceling normals into stance. You can utilize Charge 1's lingering hitbox and cancel into mine placement. This not only takes your safety to the next level, but also ensures you field control. There's probably much more applications for it I'm missing, but in conclusion, this will keep you safer as well as open up more combo opportunities without having to default to the special skill Spring. Now for weapon stats, go for 60 speed, 20 attack, 60 range, and 20 Muso charge. You can switch some of these stats with more health or defense if you need. Element, you can go for ice or lightning. Overall ranking, when factoring in his normals, charge attacks, specials, and Muso, I'm giving Mitsunari a B+ tier. His normals are slow and don't have much range. On top of that, he doesn't have a built-in stagger combo. Much of his charge attacks are slow and leaves him pretty open for attacks. His Muso attack is consistent, which is nice, but the explosion from full Muso activation can get in the way of stylish combos. It should be noted that with Awakening 3 level Muso, you inflict Demon Element, which makes you do sizable amounts of damage to opponents with large health bars. In my testing, this is more of a hindrance than anything unless you're playing survival. Well folks, that covers these 3 warriors. I hope that gave you some motivation to engage with some of the more interesting aspects of this game. Obviously there are a lot more ways to play each character, so over time I will make update videos as to what I've discovered. Next 3 stack we will cover is Gracia, Ginchiyo, and Motochika. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Fumaspark, returning to the shadows.